guess she said something about she aspires to presidency someday, which I thought, well, could happen. She's really animated, really very smart girl. And anyway, she's got this one today regarding the Central American governments and how they're not helping deal with their own people, and how AMLO is recommending to them that they start doing their part, basically. Okay, anyway, here goes. We're going to go ahead and start. Oh boy. So, as I said, I'm going to be doing Juncal Solano. She's talking about the Central American presidents and the situation in Central America and the Central American government's lack of cooperation with taking care of their people's needs. Okay, so here goes.
Hola amigos, bienvenidos a Charro, Politico. Yo soy Juncal Solano y el día de hoy agárrate con la información que te voy a platicar.
So she's saying, hello friends, I'm Juncal Solano, and hold on to your hats because I'm about something to talk to you about, something very important.
Y es que Marcelo Ebrard y el presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador sacan la casta a nivel internacional.
So now Andrés Manuel López Obrador and his foreign, what is it, the guy that does the foreign work, a foreign relations officer, is with him, and they're going to be talking about the Central American situation.
Y se ponen parejos a los presidentes de Latinoamérica.
And they put themselves eye to eye with the presidents of Latin America.
Donde el presidente López Obrador el día de hoy le exigió.
So today, President Obrador demanded from
los presidentes de Latinoamérica,
the presidents of Latin America,
que se pongan a trabajar, que
that they start working,
se pongan a hacer algo por su país y a
that they start doing something for their country, and
tener el flujo migratorio
to hold back the migratory influx,
con trabajo y buenas oportunidades, que dejen
to give jobs and good opportunities there,
de andar robando y
and to stop stealing basically from the people.
el dinero que les mandó por parte
The money that he sent them
de México lo aprovechan,
on behalf of Mexico,
porque si no se
that they need to take advantage of that money, or else I guess she's saying they're going to wash their hands of them,
olvidan de México, se olvidan de los
and they can forget about help from Mexico, and they can forget about support,
apoyos y jamás vuelven a recibir un quinto de
and they will never again get another cent from
México.
Mexico.
También Marcelo Ebrard se puso la
And also Marcelo Ebrard, he is the foreign, the foreign, I can't think of the name, but anyway, so he's the foreign director, foreign relations officer.
las pilas y se le fue con todo hoy al presidente Donald Trump.
So today, they went with everything at Donald Trump too.
Donde le dijo que está enterado, que está maltratando a mexicanos,
And he let President Trump know that he is aware that he is mistreating Mexicans
que sí tienen documentos,
that are documented,
los están metiendo a la cárcel de
and that they are putting them in jail anyway,
forma terrible.
in a terrible situation or in a terrible form.
Dijo Marcelo Ebrard que de ser necesario acudirá a Estados Unidos para defender.
And he said that, Marcelo Ebrard said that if it is necessary, he will go to the U.S. to deal with this matter, or to help handle the situation,
Los en carne propia
so that he can see it for himself,
y que no se lo va a permitir al pelo del otro. La cosa se puso
and that he is not going to permit this from the corn husk man.
Buena, México tiene más enemigos. Estados Unidos nuevamente se
So now they have more enemies
vuelve a enojar con México. ¿Qué no
because they're angry again with Mexico.
espera? Quédate conmigo porque lo tienes que saber.
So she says, wait till you see what's coming. You've got to know this.
Y pues bien, mis queridos charritos, arrancamos con la información.
So now we're starting my beloved charritos, because she's got a little charro on the bottom, so she calls everybody charritos. So she says, so now let's get on with the information.
El día de hoy
Of today.
agárrense que la cosa se puso buena.
So hold on to your hats, because things are getting steamy here.
Y es que resulta que López Obrador se portó un tanto estricto con los presidentes
So it seems that President AMLO behaved a little bit strictly with the presidents of
de Latinoamérica.
Latin
Yo
America.
lo apoyo y también a
But in reality, I support him and
Marcelo Ebrard. ¿En qué
and
sentido?
Marcelo
Pues bien,
Ebrard.
este fin
In what sense? Well, here it comes.
de semana Marcelo Ebrard tuvo una cumbre muy importante con
So this week, Marcelo Ebrard had a very important meeting with
Latinoamérica,
Latin Americans.
donde el principal tema que le dijo López Obrador a tratar
So where the principal theme that López Obrador gave him to deal with was
fue el tema migratorio.
a
Porque a
migratory
México le
matter.
está saliendo sumamente caro esta
Because this this situation is very expensive for Mexico.
situación. Se está haciendo responsable de personas mientras que en sus países de origen se están lavando las manos.
So here he is, AMLO is making him taking responsibility for people from other countries when those presidents over there are just basically washing their hands of the problem and leaving it to Mexico.
Pese a que López Obrador ya dio un incentivo, ya dio un apoyo a estos países
So as it stands, López Obrador already gave them some money, some help, some support financially.
centroamericanos para que empiece a frenar el flujo
So he gave them this money so they can start to put the to stop the influx of migrants.
con trabajo y buenas oportunidades.
So he told them to give them work and good opportunities.
Ojo, pese a esto, los presidentes andan muy quitados de la pena con
So she says, but as it appears, the presidents don't appear to be at all worried about what's going on. They're like very lackadaisical about it.
que si ese dinero se lo regaló López Obrador
Oh yeah, they're acting like, oh yeah, here's the money Obrador gave us, and pardon me. Here's the money Obrador gave us, and they're not putting it to the use it was
a
intended.
despilfarrarlos y les dijo, no, mi chulos.
And he thinks that they might be wasting the money, and he said, no, wait, now slow down, little men.
Quien no se ponga las pilas y que
If they are not going to get into action,
no empiece a generar
and if they don't start generating jobs
empleos, a trabajar o a hacer
And
algo que se
to work and do something about it, then they can forget.
olvide de México porque no vuelven a ver ni un peso partido
Because if they don't get into action, they're not going to receive another single peso from the Mexican government.
por la mitad y las prácticas migratorias se van a poner todavía más rudas en México porque no se
And also the immigration practices are going to become more intense and strict in Mexico.
vale que México esté agarrando, que esté aguantando ahí
So it's not fair that Mexico should be there sitting, taking the blows of abuse from other countries
golpe tras golpe de Estados Unidos
US
golpe
from-
que representa
from
acoger
what-
a migrantes aquí y que
what represents us taking migrants here,
los presidentes de origen no estén haciendo nada.
and the presidents of origin are doing nothing.
Vamos desglosando la información y esto lo dio a conocer el día de hoy Marcelo Ebrard y vamos desglosando la información.
So we're going to disclose the information right now, and this is what Marcelo Ebrard said at the conference today.
Y dice así.
And it says that
los cuales estamos viviendo nosotros acá. Finalmente,
Finally,
la cumbre acordó
the
en el punto
the group of men that met agreed on the following points.
número 42,
On number 42,
establecer lo siguiente que nosotros vemos como un avance muy
to establish the following, which we believe to be a very
importante de la
important
tesis mexicana.
that of the Mexican thesis.
Un otro país lo planteó en la cumbre.
No other country put this forth at this meeting.
México lo planteó. Los grandes movimientos de refugiados y migrantes son una preocupación mundial.
The great influx of immigrants is a worldly preoccupation
con consecuencias humanitarias,
with consequences that are humanitarian, political,
políticas, sociales y
social,
económicas.
and economical.
Enfatizamos
We
los
emphasize
integrantes del G20
to the integrants of G20
la importancia de las acciones compartidas
that the importance of having shared labors regarding this matter.
Subrayo compartidas
And I
porque queremos
say
establecer el
shared
principio de corresponsabilidad.
because we want to establish that this is a co-responsibility situation.
Ojo, esto es muy importante.
This is very
Marcelo
important.
Ebrard le manda
He-
a los presidentes
he-
de Latinoamérica
he's
lo
letting-
que López Obrador
He's letting, she says, ojo means kind of like keep an eye on this or pay special attention to this. That Ebrard is letting them know, the people from the presidents from the other countries, that they need to be involved.
les dijo,
And he
una
said
actividad compartida.
that it is a joint effort.
México no se puede hacer única y exclusivamente responsable
That Mexico cannot make itself the only responsible party
del tema migratorio, porque
for the migratory matter,
esto nos va a desgastar.
because this will make us spin our wheels.
Tenemos encima la refinería de Dos Bocas, tenemos
We have on our plates right now the refinery at Dos Bocas,
encima el Tren Maya, tenemos
the Maya train that we have to deal with.
encima la Guardia Nacional,
We have National Guard to deal with.
tenemos encima la inseguridad, tenemos
We have the problem of insecurity,
encima las protestas de policías,
the protests from the police.
tenemos encima la corrupción en Pemex,
We have we're dealing with the corruption in Pemex,
en el Poder Judicial y no
and we have problems with the judicial powers here.
podemos enfocarnos o no se
And we cannot be focused only on,
puede ir todo nuestro recurso
and all our resources cannot be going to this matter
en tema migratorio.
for the migratory
La Guardia
thing.
Nacional también está hecha
And the National Guard is also made up of,
para acabar con la inseguridad.
is also here to end our safety and security issues.
Y se nos está yendo mucho dinero en esto
And we are spending a lot of money on this.
cuando no se vale que los demás países se pongan a trabajar.
So she says when it's not fair, the other countries should start to work on it as well.
Tal cual. Eso fue lo que dijo. O la actividad migratoria se hace pues sí, de forma compartida.
So the activities have to be done in a shared way,
En ayuda,
with
trabajo
help,
mutuo
working
por
together.
seguridad de México.
Or you
Tal
can forget
cual
about Mexico,
fue el mensaje que
which
manda
was
hoy
the-
Marcelo Ebrard
the message that Marcelo Ebrard sent today
con el presidente. Sigamos escuchando.
with the
para
president
abordar las causas profundas del desplazamiento,
to deal with the causes of the displacement, the underlying causes of the displacement,
y para responder a las crecientes necesidades humanitarias.
and to respond to the growing humanitarian needs.
Este punto quedó en el punto 42. ¿Por qué?
So this matter was on point number 43. Why?
Porque nosotros lo metimos en la cumbre, lo propusimos.
Because we put it in that proposal.
Es decir, que si López Obrador ni Marcelo Ebrard proponían esto en la cumbre,
Because as it stands, if neither Marcelo or the president had put this matter up on the board for the group, the 20, the G20 group to see, if they hadn't done it,
que se llevó a cabo este fin de semana,
that went on
los
this
otros
weekend,
presidentes
the other
eran
presidents
justos, la ban-
did not even mention it. They were just there, very like comfortable, just like with their hands not a mess.
dándose las manos. Inclusive el presidente de Chile le hizo una broma a López
Even the president of Chile made a joke to López Obrador,
Obrador porque no acudió, pero en vez de estar haciendo bromas deberían de estar
but they made a joke because President AMLO did not go to the meeting. But instead of making jokes, they should be
hablando de este tema, el tema migratorio,
handling the migratory issue.
que no es justo,
Because it's
que
not
hacen los
just
recursos
that they've already been given the money or the funds,
y no han hecho absolutamente
and they haven't done absolutely anything.
nada. Yo sé que el cambio no es de la noche a la mañana,
We know that the change won't happen from night to day,
pero a ver, ya informaron qué actividad, qué
but they haven't informed that they've started any activities. They haven't done anything to let people know what the plan is for the resources.
programas de trabajo, no han informado
Any
absolutamente
program,
nada
job programs,
al gobierno mexicano, y esto es
and they haven't informed the Mexican government of anything that they are doing.
lo que tiene molesto a López Obrador,
And that is what's bothering López Obrador,
que no todos estamos jalando para el mismo lado.
that we're
Entonces,
not
pues,
all
sí,
pulling our weight.
no se va a poder. También
And we
ya
can't do
sabemos
that.
que para Marcelo Ebrard no es santo de su devoción Donald Trump, a quien también se le fue
Oh my gosh. And that also, as you know, Donald Trump is not very devoted. I'm sorry. That Marcelo Ebrard is not very devoted to Donald Trump.
la yugular el día de hoy y dijo Marcelo Ebrard: si es necesario, iré a Estados Unidos a defender a migrantes mexicanos.
So in this, in Generation, he said, if it is necessary, I will go to the United States to defend the migrant Mexicans abroad. By Mr. Ebrard, I'm sorry.
Así mencionó Ebrard y vamos desglosando la información del día de hoy. Posiblemente debes de estar diciendo qué es lo que está sucediendo. Pues bien, gracias a una información que compartió nuestro amigo de Sin Censura, salió esto que dice: varios mexicanos en Chicago están siendo arrestados por las deportaciones que amenazó Donald Trump.
So it says that Vicente Serrano shared this today, that various Mexicans in Chicago are very worried because of the deportations that are being threatened in the U.S. today.
El problema, o lo que denuncia nuestro amigo de Sin Censura, es lo siguiente, que inclusive mexicanos
So what the guy Vicente Serrano from Sin Censura is saying, that our brothers in,
que sí cuentan con papeles o que sus trámites están en
that even the Mexicans that are in the U.S. that do have proper paperwork, or that their paperwork is in process,
proceso, de que se les responda o que ya tienen un 70-80% del trámite
or that are 70 to 80% done with the paperwork or documentation for their immigration,
concluido, los están deportando, se los están llevando y los están
so they are deporting them and they are sending them back,
separando de sus familias
and they're separating them from their families
de una forma inconsiderada, porque hay
in an inconsiderate way, because
incluso hay unos que ya tienen papeles
there's some that already have their immigration documents,
y Donald Trump se está aprovechando de esta situación para hacer su
and that Donald Trump is taking advantage of the situation in order to improve his campaign,
campaña, porque ya sabemos que su campaña es
because
basada
we know that his campaign is based on
en el racismo única y
in the racism only,
exclusivamente contra los
that exclusively and only towards
mexicanos,
Mexicans.
razón por la cual Marcelo
This is the reason why Marcelo Ebrard,
dijo, oye, menú, ya te volaste la barda.
so he said, oh no, come on now, you're going overboard.
Creo que ya fue demasiado.
I think that's too much.
Hemos platicado, México está
We've talked.
poniendo
Mexico,
también todo su esfuerzo,
Mexico is doing everything that it can to help.
está poniendo la Guardia Nacional
We've put the National Guard
para que tú salgas con tus
so that you can come out with this behavior
fregaderas, vaya la expresión, y seguir maltratando a mexicanos
and continue to mistreat Mexicans
que sí tienen sus papeles, que sí
that do have their immigration documents legally,
cuentan con sus papeles y me los estás tratando así.
and you are treating them this way.
No lo vamos a soportar. Una
We are not going to tolerate it.
cosa es que sean inmigrantes, pero personas que ya estén establecidas,
But it's one thing for someone to be just crossing over, but it's another thing for someone to be established,
que ya cuenten con sus papeles
that are already in the process of their paperwork,
o que ya tengan el 88% con
or that they've already got about 80 to 88% of their process done.
ruido del proceso, no se me hace justo.
It's
Y esto
not-
fue lo que dijo Marcelo
It
Ebrard.
doesn't appear to be just.
Si es necesario ir a Estados Unidos a defender a migrantes mexicanos, dijo Marcelo Ebrard, y dice así. El canciller mexicano Marcelo Ebrard habló sobre las redadas masivas contra mexicanos en Estados Unidos.
So Marcelo Ebrard spoke regarding the massive raids against Mexicans in the U.S. and he assured
Y aseguró que este tema se está tratando a favor de los compatriotas que viven
that this matter is being dealt with in the favor of our compatriots that are living in the U.S.
en el país vecino. El problema aquí es que no es contra otras personas que no sean mexicanos.
The problem here is that it is not against other people that are not Mexicans.
Esto ya es algo personal, mis queridos charritos.
This is now something personal.
Y yo ya lo había dicho. Que
And I had already said it, that
iba
this-
a querer agarrarnos como conejos.
That this man, and I believe she's speaking about Donald Trump, that was going to try to just use us as their little,
Conejillos de indias a los mexicanos que viven en Estados Unidos para hacer su cochina propaganda.
that he was going to be using Mexicans that are in the U.S. for his dirty propaganda.
Porque ahora salió el New York Times a decir que Donald Trump
Because today, New York Times said that Donald Trump
tiene la mayor aprobación nunca antes vista desde que inició en desde que inició
so this is the most approval he's gotten since he initiated in the U.S.
campañas la primera vez en
Since he initiated the campaign the first time in the U.S.
Estados Unidos. Razón que nos da a entender que sí le está funcionando su cochina
So this lets us know that his dirty propaganda
propaganda de estar maltratando a mexicanos.
of mistreating Mexicans is actually giving him results,
Y eso no se lo podemos permitir.
and we cannot permit this,
Y menos cuando se supone que somos primer socios, que somos
especially when we're supposed to be his closest allies,
cuates.
friends,
y así, pues, de que
and
se
he treats
trata
us
de
like
una
this.
Entonces ya basta de tanto
So
miedo.
that's enough of
Ya.
that humiliation. Enough of all this humiliation.
Basta de tanta fregadera por parte de
And
Donald Trump.
abuse.
Sí es necesario que le pongan un hasta aquí,
And that they need to let him know that that's as far as it can go.
porque México se ha portado muy buena
Because Mexico has behaved very well with them.
onda, ha negociado, ha platicado, ha
They've negotiated, they've spoken with him,
cedido y no
and
se
we've ceded with them, to them.
vale que sea así con nosotros.
And it's not fair that he behaved that way with us.
Y dice así: aseguró que se va a apoyar a los mexicanos y que ya está listo para una defensa eficaz ante los.
So so this is Marcelo Ebrard. He assured them that he is going to back Mexicans and that he is already ready to defend efficiently against any possible threats by the government of the U.S. and Donald Trump.
Posibles amagos del gobierno estadounidense de Donald Trump. Es decir, Trump sabe que no son amigos y se fue,
So as they know, Trump understands or doesn't actually consider us his friends.
Ebrard sabe que entre Trump y México no hay amistad.
Ebrard knows that between Mexico and the U.S. or Trump, there is actually no friendship.
Fui a Los Ángeles al consulado, ya trabajamos desde
So I went to Los Angeles at the consulate and we worked on it for 3 weeks.
hace 3 semanas las acciones ante esta eventualidad
And these were my actions prior to this event.
que se está presentando en Estados Unidos para pedir y decir, sin temor a equivocarme, que estamos listos y preparados para hacer una defensa legal.
So I can tell you that we, without being in error, that we are ready and prepared for any legal defense if they start to do these deportations.
Y eficaz para los mexicanos que están siendo maltratados con Estados Unidos.
And this is important and efficient for these Mexicans that are being deported in the U.S.
Y con Donald Trump, donde Ebrard asegura que no tienen miedo y van a llegar hasta las últimas consecuencias en los tribunales, porque Trump
He says that they will go to the final consequences in the tribunals because Trump
no está jugando parejo.
is not
Él lo único que
playing
está haciendo es
unfair,
propaganda donde
and
está
he's only
lastimando a
using,
personas, donde está hiriendo familias,
he's hurting families, he's using us for his propaganda,
donde está maltratando única y exclusivamente a mexicanos
and he's exclusively abusing Mexicans
para hacer su cochina propaganda
to do his dirty propaganda,
y no se lo vamos a permitir.
and we will not
Aquí
permit
tenemos
this.
que también habló de la cumbre del G20, lo que sucedió, que básicamente ya platicamos.
Here he talked about the G20 meeting where they talked about,
De esto
where we've already talked about this.
y aquí pues
And
seguimos
here-
avanzando y vemos que pues esta es la nota que
CBS
compartió nuestro
Chicago.
amigo de Sin Censura, está en inglés pero básicamente habla de esto. Se están deportando, están sacando a mexicanos de sus casas que inclusive ya tienen sus papeles.
So as you can see, this is from CBS Chicago. Immigrants in Chicago fear ICE deportation. President Trump deadline passes.
Pero todo es contra única y exclusivamente mexicanos, así que no lo
So this is exclusively against Mexicans.
podemos permitir. Y vemos que, pues no, Marcelo Ebrard sabe que Donald Trump no es amigo, no es aliado, razón por la cual hace unas semanas lo vimos con el vicepresidente de China,
So Ebrard understands that President Trump is not our friend, and he was seen with the Vice President of China, I guess last week.
arreglando motores para que esta situación, pues entre México y Estados Unidos dure lo menos posible y comenzar.
Because they're hoping that this situation with Mexico and the U.S. lasts the least amount possible, and we can
Para
begin
extendernos a otros
to deal with other matters,
países, pero no se
and
vale que esto ya
to
sea
extend ourselves to other countries.
personal, que no haya, pues sí, lineamientos, que esto ya sea político para
So, so this is not right that he should be using and humiliating Mexicans for his dirty war.
Presidente de decirle a Marcelo Ebrard que le ponga un estate quieto también a los
So that also they're, or she's glad that they're telling the other presidents
presidentes de
of Latin America
absolutamente
that are not doing absolutely anything.
nada y pareciera que quieren colapsar entre Estados Unidos y Latinoamérica, México.
That it appears that they want to collapse Mexico between the U.S. and the Central American countries.
Ya era una de mis teorías que les había presentado.
That's one of my theories that I had presented to you before.
Pero qué bueno que López Obrador les dijo, o se pueden a trabajar o no vuelven a ver apoyo de México. Y también qué bueno.
And it's a good thing that Andres, the president, told them, either you start working or don't even count on our support anymore.
Bueno que le dijeron a Donald Trump, deja de estar maltratando a los mexicanos.
And it's a good thing they told Trump, you better stop mistreating Mexicans.
Vamos a llegar hasta las últimas consecuencias.
Because we will take it to the furthest consequences.
Nuestro principal socio, no lo pasamos por el arco.
Even though you may be one of our principal allies, we will not allow you to go forth with this under the, when they say arco, that means like when you go through the Arch of Triumph. So with this we conclude the video. Give me comments and what do you think. So anyway, so there's her little Charro. Anyway, I really enjoy this girl's, she's really too fast for me to translate for. Wow, she runs a mile a minute. But her information is very clear and articulate, and she always has the sources that she uses, for example, the Chicago Times, or sometimes she uses Forbes, other things. But it's always well substantiated, and I appreciate that. I can also, go back and research it myself. But I really appreciate people listening, and let me know what you think of my translation also. Thank you. Bye.